Cast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, and good morning to those of us in Central Time, and good afternoon to the rest of the states within Glakuho. I want to thank you for joining us for our webinar regarding the proposed bylaw changes brought forward by Jacob Knight on behalf of the Governance Working Group. My name is Tiffany Gonzalez, and I'm the current Glakuho president. The purpose of this webinar is to provide an opportunity for members to learn more about the proposed bylaw changes specifically related to the Glakuho online elections. And it is our hope for members to learn more about the proposal and ask any questions they have regarding the proposal that will be voted on by the membership between August 17th and 31st. We are recording this webinar and will have it available online for members who are not able to attend. A brief overview of the webinar of what to expect today. We will introduce the presenters, give history of the Governance Task Force, the 2017 proposals, and then we'll review the current proposed changes, as well as offer an opportunity for members to ask questions of us regarding these changes. So once again, my name is Tiffany Gonzalez. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the current president of Glakuho. I'm hosted at the University of Illinois at Chicago.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jacob Knight. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm the Indiana delegate hosted at Franklin College of Indiana.
Good morning. My name is Eric Musselman. I'm Facilities Project Manager at DePaul University. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am the Glakuho President-elect.
All right, so our current proposal was set in motion in 2015. Glakuho President Josh Lowry convened a strategic planning task force. The task force reviewed historical documents and assessment data from the organization. Upon review of all information, the task force recommended several goals to guide our association's work through the 2020 conference. These goals were reviewed by past presidents and the 2014-2015 Glakuho Board of Directors. The board voted to approve the strategic plan on October 19th, 2015. Taking action on this plan in 2016, Glakuho President Paul Hubinski appointed a governance task force to review the governance recommendations in the strategic plan and make recommendations to the Glakuho board. The 2016 governance task force recommended a clear division of the board, adding minimum requirements for holding elected positions in Glakuho, along with several other governance-related updates. These recommendations were reviewed and approved by the Glakuho board at the 2016 annual conference, but they require a bylaw change to actually take effect. So in 2017, Glakuho President Michelle Soika appointed a new governance task force to write and propose these bylaw changes. This group reviewed the previous task force recommendations and decided to do some assessment of their own to better understand Glakuho's governance. In the end, they proposed 5 bylaw changes. These bylaw changes, along with several others, were presented to the Glakuho board, who approved them, so they advanced to a membership vote at the annual conference. So at the 2017 annual conference, there was a lengthy question and answer session followed by a motion to table this conversation until the next quarter. This motion was seconded and the membership approved this motion by a 38 to 20 to 1 vote. We learned a lot from the first proposal process. We covered a lot of information in the 30+ minutes of presenting and Q&A that followed. And one of the big things that we realized is we need to cover thoroughly the changes we think we need to make for the future of our association and help our members understand the implications of these changes. Instead of bringing the original 2017 governance bylaw proposals forward again, we've taken advantage of the quarterly bylaw revision process this into smaller proposals so they can have more focused conversations. In May, we did our first set of bylaw revisions when we added minimum requirements for the elected positions and updated the timelines for the exhibitor liaison and technology coordinator positions to reflect being appointed a year prior to assuming their duties. Both of these changes were approved. This quarter, there will be 2 more proposals. Last week, we did a webinar to discuss our second proposal, which would more clearly divide the leadership of our association into two separate bodies, while adding a new board member to oversee the committees and serve as the voice of committee chairs and members in board business. If you weren't able to attend this webinar, the recording is available on the GLCUHO YouTube page. Today's webinar will focus on our first proposal, which will shift our election process from an in-person election at the GLCUHO annual conference to an online election which will occur in May. If approved, the nomination process for elected positions will occur during March and April, and in May, candidate materials for associate members who submitted nomination materials for elected positions will be published on the glcuho.org website, and secret ballots will be cast by active member institutions through the glcuho.org website. Runoff elections will occur if 3 or more candidates are under consideration for an elected officer position, and the first round of voting by the membership does not result in one candidate receiving a simple majority. Candidates receiving a simple majority of votes will be announced as the winner of the election and will begin orientation with the incumbent elected officer before beginning their term at the conclusion of the next annual conference. If approved, non-voting board members will be appointed during the summer meeting of the board of directors. So associate members appointed to these positions can begin an orientation period with the incumbent non-voting board member before beginning their term at the conclusion of the next annual conference. Since the election and appointment process will be in a different order than they are currently, we hope to see more unsuccessful candidates for elected positions being considered for appointed positions within the association during the same calendar year. This also gives both elected positions and appointed positions a larger transition window, so incoming board members are even more prepared to assume these responsibilities and take actions following the conference.
Thank you, Jacob. So now Eric and I are going to walk through each of the proposed bylaw changes, and as you can see on your screen, on the left-hand side are the current bylaws, and on the right-hand side are the revised bylaws. So here in Article 6, elected officers, the proposal to change the position shall be elected at the annual conference will change to the position shall be elected through an online election. Those positions in Section 6 through 9 include President-elect, Secretary, Treasurer, and state delegates. Please note that in conjunction with our other proposed bylaw change, should that pass, the addition of Section 10, Committee Chair Delegate, will be added to the online election in 2020, as this coming year, should it pass again, the Committee Chair Delegate will be voted on at the annual conference. Continuing on, in Article 7, elections, the addition of the Committee Chair Delegate has been added to the slate of board positions elected by the association. Additionally, vote by secret ballot at the association business meeting of the annual conference has been changed to online vote. Section 2 includes the timeline in which a transition period from June of the elected year to the annual conference in which training and onboarding of the newly elected board will take place. The position will officially begin, as it currently does, with the ending of the annual conference in the year in which they have been elected. Please note, these changes are slated to happen in May 2019, meaning this year, elections will occur at the annual business meeting in Bloomington, Indiana. In May of 2019, elections for open board positions will occur. From then June 2019 to October, the newly elected board members will be training and onboarded and will assume roles and duties at the conclusion of the 2019 annual conference in East Lansing, Michigan.
Continuing with Article 7, Section 4 changes outline what happens in the event of a runoff election. The President will announce the top 2 candidates via email, and a second round of voting will take place. In looking at Article 7, Section 5, an institution would not need to be present for elections as they are taking place online. Additionally, the term secret ballot has been changed to online vote. This proposal removes the section that says, at the President's discretion, any other current Board of Directors member may be designated to conduct the election if an elected officer is unavailable. In the event of a tie, the designated elected officer or board member would cast the deciding vote. So this section is no longer needed, as the President will conduct the elections online, and will cast the deciding vote in the event of a tie where the current state delegate is one of the candidates. So continuing on with Section 6, the President will announce the names of the candidates between which the runoff election shall occur to the membership by email.
Thank you, Eric. So then looking at our timeline for implementation, in August this year, the membership will vote on this as well as the leadership proposal. In October of this year, we will continue our elections at the business meeting at the annual conference. The elected position available is president-elect. Should the leadership proposal pass, we will also be electing our first committee chair delegate at this upcoming annual conference. Looking to 2019, the first part of the year will be preparing our technology and implementation for online elections. During this time, we will solicit nominations, collect application materials, and publicize candidate materials on our website. Elections are slated to take place through the month of May. From June until October, this will be used as a transition and onboarding prior to the annual conference. After the annual conference in Michigan, the newly elected board will begin their term. So that is an overview of our current proposed bylaws on our online elections. I will open this up to the floor now for any questions or anything further that Jacob or Eric would like to add. Seeing none, I want to thank you all for spending a little bit of time today on this Friday with us to learn more about our proposals. And I want to encourage you to continue to have conversations on your campus regarding these changes and reach out to myself, Jacob, Michelle, or Eric should you have further questions. You can also reach out to any member of our board of directors. I also want to remind voting delegates to vote between August 17th and 31st. A link to each voting delegate will be sent out closer to the August 17th. I want to thank you again and hope you have a great weekend.